So I've been watching the Marvel movies with my wife, and I've been rewatching the Fast and Furious movies with my friends. So I thought, what if we combine superheroes with family? So I decided to rewatch The Incredibles. So we start this movie with Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and Frozone talking about their secret identities and how important it is to have those as a superhero. But Mr. Incredible has somewhere he needs to be, so he rushes off just to see a crime in progress. As he heads towards the crime, he saves a cat from a tree, stops a robbery, and meets Incrediboy, a plucky young lad who just seeks to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick, who he quickly informs that he works alone and then prevents a man from committing suicide and jumps into a bank vault, and meets the incredibly French bad guy Bon Voyage, who's currently trying to commit bank robbery, as Incrediboy makes his way back into the picture. And Bon Voyage quickly sticks a bomb to that kid, and Mr. Incredible saves Incrediboy, aka Buddy, and then heads to his wedding to Elastigirl, who says if they're going to make this work, you're going to have to be more than incredible. Do you understand? And he responds with I do at the same time the priest says the thing, and then they get married. We then see that Mr. Incredible saving that man from committing suicide has consequences, as Mr. Incredible is sued for his injuries, which leads to even more people suing heroes, which leads to all the heroes getting sued, and makes superheroing an illegal practice in the United States and forces all the heroes into retirement. We then cut about 15 years in the future to Bob, aka Mr. Incredible, working at an insurance firm where he has a mean boss and a relatively boring life in comparison, but is still married to Helen, aka Elastigirl, who is a stay-at-home mom, as they have two super kids, a speedster named Dash, who is a bad kid at school and resents not being able to use his superpowers, and Invisigirl, aka Violet, who is a shy, reserved girl just like her superpowers suggest. We then see the whole family eating dinner together and having a good time as Mr. Incredible longs for the days of old and wishes that his son and daughter didn't have to be ashamed of their superpowers from the general public that he spent years helping, which causes a huge argument between Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, and he still wants to be a hero, so he goes bowling with Frozone and ends up saving a bunch of people's lives from a burning building, but almost gets caught. Little did Bob know that that would light a fire within him, and the next time his boss would get angry at him, he would throw him through 7 walls, obviously losing his job. Heading home ashamed, he keeps reminiscing about the good old days, but to Mr. Incredible's surprise, he gets sent a message by a woman named Mirage to be a hero again. I can't help but to say that Mirage is smooth like butter. As Bob is told that he's going to fight the Omnidroid 07 edition for money, and Bob is just so excited to be a hero again that he misses all of the red flags. But you know what I miss? I miss Gazer Beam. Also, on a side note, this movie is so extremely popular that I write all of my scripts with voice chat in Google Drive. And Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and Gazer Beam are all included in the speech recognition software, but Frozone isn't, and that feels problematic. He then tells Helen a big fat lie about some insurance retreat to a job he doesn't have anymore, and goes and gets the mission and fights the Omnidroid. There's a little joke about him being fat, but he wins after the machine stretches him and pops his back, because don't forget he's getting old, and proceeds to win. We then cut to Mirage, who is putting on the charm all nice and smooth at the biggest table I've ever seen, and Bob falls for it hook, line, and sinker, proving once again that a beautiful woman can convince the most weak-willed men to do just about anything. And now Bob is living this double life where he's a hero in secret but a family man in public. And meanwhile, he then takes a trip to get a new suit because his old suit got cut, and we meet Edna Mode. And Edna is so extra and speaks and has really good points, like never look back, it distracts from the now, and no capes, the latter being very important later on in the movie. As Helen obviously starts mistaking the hero work as an affair, because any normal person would, and starts hitting Bob with the biggest guilt trips of the year. And don't forget that the star of the movie is just about to appear, as Bob is doing mission after mission, fighting robot after robot. Finally, one of them just keeps throwing him around, but Mr. Incredible is able to beat it. But then somebody appears and is capable of stopping the mighty Mr. Incredible. Who could it be? Why, it's Buddy, aka Incrediboy. But he's done being Incrediboy anymore. He's Syndrome, the hero to beat all heroes, who after told he could never be a hero by his hero, spent his entire life showing that you didn't need superpowers to be a super. You could just be really smart, which he explains over the best speech in this entire movie. And while he's talking, Mr. Incredible catches him monologuing.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it.
But Syndrome stops him with his 0-point energy and accidentally yeets him in. into a river. Mr. Incredible uses to make his great escape only after being hit by an incredible bomb and having to hide behind the bones of his old friend Gazer Beam. No, not Gazer Beam. And out of all of the technological advances that Syndrome has, he does not understand how to do a good working scanning technology because this stuff really sucks. And props to Gazer Beam for putting the passport on the wall as he was dying. It is called Kronos, and it will come up later. We then see Helen going to Edna as she's figured out that Bob is doing hero work and needed a super suit from the only person who can make a super suit. And of course, Edna is just focused on getting Elastigirl and her children into the hero game because Edna's a straight gangsta. While that's happening, Mr. Incredible is doing a little stealth mission to try to get some information and put in the password in the supercomputer Kronos, to realize that a lot of his hero friends have been killed by Syndrome because he played to their little egos. And as he's doing this, Helen is with Edna and they activate the tracking device in Mr. Incredible's suit, getting him caught and captured. And then Helen decides to pick up the mantle of Elastigirl again, and her kids decide to go along for the ride and hide in the plane that she's using to fly to the remote island that Syndrome owns because weapon sales. As Corey is watching Jack Jack, the airplane explodes and Mr. Incredible thinks he's lost everything and threatens Mirage, and Syndrome is just willing to let her die. But Bob is too good of a person to kill someone and lets her free. Meanwhile, Elastigirl saves the kids and the kids are freaking out. But they're going to have to get inside the mom boat and move towards the island as she tells her kids that she's going to have them be heroes. And then we get to see another infiltration scene where we get to see how thick Elastigirl is, and she takes out a few guards, and we get to see how much more competent Elastigirl is than Mr. Incredible in the hero business. We then cut back to the kid as they find that there's a rocket at the end of the cave, and Dash runs quickly to save his sister. And Mirage gains the consciousness because Syndrome was just going to let her die, but Mr. Incredible wouldn't hurt her. So she goes and saves him, and Elastigirl walks in at the worst time and makes it really feel like there's an affair going on when there's nothing going on there. We then see a dope as heck chase scene where those little UFO machines that the mooks use are chasing around Violet and Dash as these guys are just straight up about to kill a kid. And then we get to see a cool family battle that happens between the mooks and the Incredibles, which ends with Syndrome showing up and being awesome. He then realizes that Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl
Got busy!
a couple super kids, and then he explains this plan on how he's going to fight the robot, making himself feel like the biggest hero, and then selling the tech to more and more people so that when everyone's super, nobody's super anymore, which in my honest opinion is an actual good plan if Syndrome wasn't kind of stupid himself in his blindness. He captures the Incredibles again and Mirage helps them escape again, and that's kind of repetitive. But they get in a rocket and they head to the city where the van is being held by Elastigirl, who has the super strength in the family. And you get to see that funny scene where they're just arguing about directions, and it's hilarious. And we find out that what Vin Diesel has been saying in the Fast and Furious movies the whole time is the truth, and there's nothing stronger than family. Then the Incredibles channel their inner Dominic Toretto and end up defeating the robot after it easily outsmarts Syndrome. And because it's fought like 40 heroes at this point, and they play football, and teamwork makes the dream work as Syndrome runs away and plans on kidnapping Jack Jack as the Incredibles defeat the bad guy and head home, and Syndrome has Jack Jack and he's getting away, and then they all realize that Jack Jack has superpowers and he's very scared right now and he's prepared to kill a man. And then we're reminded why Edna Mode said no capes, as Syndrome is eaten by a helicopter, and of course that was totally wicked, and Jack Jack is mentally scarred for the rest of his life. Then we get the last scene of the movie where Dash finally gets to use his superpowers to participate in sports, and they all leave the arena, and Violet finally gets a date with her boo that she wants to date, and they come out and there's a villain there, and it would have been so cool if he showed up for longer than 10 seconds in the second Incredibles movie, the Underminer. So he shows up with his dope little like mining rig, and it's just awesome. But that's Incredibles 1. fun, a decently average superhero movie that has good family dynamics, and a very interesting supervillain that rounds it out to be an above average superhero movie. And it just feels like the Fast and Furious franchise with superpowers, which I'm okay with. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it and wait 14 years before you watch the sequel. Trust me, it's totally worth it. I thank you all for watching. I know I've missed 2 weeks of videos. I've had a personal rough month this month. But I thank you all for sticking along, and thank you for joining Spiral Tree Entertainment in this 10-minute review of Incredibles 1. If you like what you saw, give me a like, comment, subscribe. You know the whole YouTuber stuff. If you want to watch some gameplay video, my wife has the Spiral Tree Gaming channel now. Go check her out. She likes Sims. She plays a lot of Sims. Maybe you'll like it. I'm Isaiah. This has been the Spiral Tree, and have a wonderful rest of your day.